There we go, Mike.
We're
live, and you were just talking to our guests, and I was wondering whether I should click the go live button as you were sort of rabbiting on as you do. How's your week been, Mike?
Well, first off, you can't see him. He's backstage. I can't wait to bring him out. He can hear us. Jack, we'll see you in a minute. No, great week. We've got some really good news. We have a headline sponsor for our conference on the 19th of October. Again, details down below. We've got some early bird tickets left, I believe. I saw the post earlier that Alice did. Great. Obviously, I'm not sure how many are left, but they won't be available for long. So our partner, Kofax, known to many in our community. A lot of the partners we work with used Kofax tools, and I know that they're, well, they've got a story to tell, and they'll be telling it very well at our conference. So I'm not going to steal their thunder. But yeah, I've been working closely with them for a number of weeks, and just pleased to announce that they're able to support us this year. So more on that to follow. And a number of other partners as well, by the way. I don't know what it is about AP. It's suddenly become very sexy. Everyone wants to get involved.
And you know what? I mean, firstly, brilliant news on Kofax. We've worked with them previously. They've attended our face-to-face conference a couple of years ago, so I know them very well. They're an excellent business, as are all our partners. But I just wanted to just quickly say a word of thanks to all our sponsors and our partners.
Absolutely.
The way that the association works is that the way that we can keep our costs down, we can keep going in the way we do, giving all the content we do, which is things like this, and all the content we do in our hubs for free. We do have paid products, obviously, with our membership products and our courses and whatever. But the way that we can do a lot of things at reduced cost or free is because of the partner network that we have. So a big thank you to all of our partners, not only the ones that are coming to the conference, which is exceptional, the ones that have worked throughout the whole of 2021. You know what? They do not only a great job for us, but they do a great job for their customers who are also our members. So a big thank you to all of them. Exceptional news on having Kofax as a headline sponsor. And I know, Mike, over the next 6 weeks as we lead up to the conference, as we are in the 6-week timeline countdown, we will announce each of the sponsors. And I believe each week we'll have a sponsor on to have a chat with about what they're looking forward to on the conference, etc. So we've got that calendar of events coming through for the next few weeks. So, but exceptional news. Really looking forward to speaking to the guys at Kofax, and great to have them on board with us this year again.
Yeah. So obviously, one of the things that we're putting together this year for anybody who comes to the conference and all of our members is the APA Toolkit. Obviously, the theme of the conference being the Essential Managers Leaders Toolkit for 2022 and beyond. And I'm blown away by the support that I'm getting. Even people who can't, you know, for whatever reason, it's you know, the timing, the resource. Not everybody can afford the time to invest in supporting a conference like ours. It is quite a bit of work. Danielle and I are doing our very best to get through all that, and we'll do over the next few weeks with James and the team. But we've got this toolkit that I'm getting loads of resources. So even if you don't do anything else, you need to come to take this toolkit away, because this is going to give you, well, in every category, you're going to have some stuff that's free. First of all, as a delegate, that's going to be of real value. I've seen some of the content, Jamie. It's amazing. We've got videos, we've got white papers, we've got articles, we've got infographics. It's all coming through, and like I say, Danielle's doing a great job putting it together, and more on that in the coming weeks.
Brilliant, thank you, Mike. And as Mike said, there are some early bird tickets still available. I think they're available for the next 2 weeks. Again, you know, never ask me about dates and deadlines, but get them as soon as you possibly can. If you're struggling or you need any further details, reach out to either Mike or myself. Our details are on this post, so please get in touch. A quick reminder as well about the APA Awards. We announced all the categories last week. We're having awards coming through, which is excellent, as we always do, but try not to leave it to the last minute. You know, get your awards in early. Again, if you struggle, if you think you shouldn't be putting people through or teams through for the awards, just do it. You know, the reality is you all deserve awards for what we've been through for the last year. But get on the website, make sure you put those award categories through, and myself and Mike will make sure that, you know, we push those through. The other thing, Mike, before we introduce our speaker for today, which is Jack, I'd like to introduce our third headline speaker, I should say, not sponsor, Mandy Hickson. So you and I spoke to Mandy several months ago, and yeah, let's be honest, I think just at the initial half an hour we had with her, both of us were massively amazed and blown away with who she was, what she's done, the story she's got to tell. And I'm going to quickly read out just a little bit of her bio. So Mandy was one of the first UK female fast jet pilots in the UK. She overcame adversity, and she just has the most amazing story to tell about a predominantly male-orientated and dominated world, but ultimately the way that she goes about developing her career. She also has a book, which I thought was exceptional, and the book is entitled An Officer, Not a Gentleman. You know, a bit of a play on those words. But Mike, what was your view of when we spoke to Mandy?
Oh, just super impressed. I mean, she's awe-inspiring on any level, from the fact that she was flying a combat mission when the towers were being hit. You know, she was coming back across the Atlantic, I think, that very day. I'm not going to steal her thunder. I think it's part of the story that she tells. But there was just so many things, from her own challenges, the personal development, her experiences, the stories. I mean, I could have sat there and listened for hours, and we were like, she was just like, I thought, don't you have to go? I mean, I've got another meeting in an hour. I've got to go. But I could have listened to her for hours. So I'm really looking forward to having her on. And actually, she's really, really personable. She's, you'd think she'd be like super brainiac or a bit. She's just really like normal, and yeah, it was really good. I was really impressed. So I know everyone can love that.
So Mandy's our third headline speaker. You know, we've got an amazing lineup again this year. How we keep topping each year, I do not know. But previously, we've had a headline speaker by the name of a young man named called Brad Burton. So our audience know who Brad is. Brad always is awe-inspiring. And the guy that we're going to introduce today, Jack Nolan, is one of Brad's personal friends. He's part of his club, and he's also a coach and a motivational speaker. Now, let me introduce Jack. You all know who Brad is. You all get Brad inspired. Brad looks similar to me, but without the beard. This young man has got hair and a beard, but ultimately a lot better looking than two. So without further ado, Jack, tell us all about yourself, mate.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you so much, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here today. And thank you for everyone who's listening in to listen to my little chat today. So my story in a nutshell is that I've got lived experience, mental health issues such as bipolar, and I've experienced things such as psychosis, depression, and anxiety. But I'm going to delve straight into my story, but I'm going to give you something special. I'm going to give you a little poem of an insight of what it's like having the thoughts of someone who's struggling with mental health challenges, and to give you that motivation, inspiration, to let you know that you're not on your own and you can have that ambition, that motivation to go after whatever it is you want. And it's something that I feel like we can all relate to, no matter whether you're a male or female. It's something that we've all got inside us all. And it goes like this. It's easier to be a spectator, to sit on the couch and watch something greater, when a lot of work goes unseen. People underestimate the power of a man's dream. They believe in the wrong ideologies, questioning why they can never be, when a lot of work goes into the dark that's never seen. That's why people curse and say that life's mean, that it's done them wrong, while the other man's working all day long. From spectator to hater, false beliefs don't make them any greater. I'm the type of guy to slave down any slater, to look him in the eye and define him as a hater. Stone cold walls chained to a cell. I'm seeing people chasing money and it doesn't end well. That's why gangsters die or end up in hell. You seem too defined with blood money in my past. I'm the new breed, here to last. So if you want to get to know me, pull up a seat. I'm a storyteller and I can tell you about beef. But my lessons and experiences exist for a reason, not just a gig. Throwing the shit jokes, you can call me the Stig. Unknown, and you'll never know who I am. I'm that voice of power, the definition of a true man. I teach, I preach, and I lead the way. I exist for that kid who's too quiet to say, because one day he will wake and become something. Just like you guys listening in. So my story from the very beginning started when I was in school.
Jack, I'm going to stop you right. I'm going to start you right. How amazing was that? Did you just make that up, or have you written that before?
Something I recite sometimes when I'm doing talks.
That's deep. I've felt that. That was really. I mean, yeah. There's a lot of people, and a lot of their kids probably will hopefully be watching this, going, you know what? Hold on, Mum, Dad, what are you watching? This guy's like relevant.
And then Jack, let me jump in. So obviously, before I introduced you as our guest today, and I think that anybody who's clicking through and watching this live or on demand after the event will now know a little bit about yourself. Obviously, they've read a little bit about yourself. But the reason why I thought it was poignant to get you on today, Jack, was because one, you're a young man. who's in the field of motivational speaking. You've just, wowed us with a brilliant poem, which you don't expect me to recite that one again, not in the way that you did it, but your story resonates because our audience are, they're unrecognized, unloved sometimes for what the work they do, and a big part of the last 18 months for everybody's been mental health and well-being. So I thought it was really poignant. Last week we had another Jack on, one of our partners who has, just gone through a mental awareness course. He's doing amazing stuff in his business. And your story resonated when we met a few weeks ago online. So the intro to you, Jack, for us is you're a young man, you're going out, you're making differences to young, olds, male, female, it doesn't matter who it is, you're making a difference. So tell us your story, Jack.
Well, my story started when I was just a kid. I was the quiet kid, the shy kid, the scared kid in class who didn't want to put his hand up. I was too emotional. And at the time, I didn't recognize anything to do with mental health because back then, mental health wasn't a thing. He was just either the emotional kid, the sensitive kid, or anything in between that. And it was hard for me to sort of develop myself and move myself forward. And I used to get picked on and bullied for being that vulnerable kid who was scared to speak. So from there, I went into high school, and I know that was a long time ago for us guys, you know what I mean? But for me, it was a blink of an eyelid ago. And, I was there trying to think, how can I create a new identity for myself? Because I didn't want to carry on with the same strains of the past of being bullied and picked on and being that guy who was known as the kid who cried, you know what I mean? I hated that identity, what I had for myself. That really affected my mental health at the time. So from there, I ended up focusing on my grades and my stuff like that. I started focusing on stuff what I need to do in education to try and further myself and my ambitions. And I really wanted to be in the creative industry. So I ended up failing my maths GCSE, which got me a D. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm not going to be a mathematician, so don't worry about it, Jack. And I tried to turn that D into something positive. But that D stands for something: determination, domination, and discipline. And they were the qualities that was going to make me a success in my life. That was going to make me project forward who I wanted to be in the future. So from there, I ended up getting into university, which wasn't the best decision for me at the time. But again, social pressures I wasn't realised about because I got an unconditional offer, which sort of sucked me straight into the system. I wasn't strong enough to say, Mum, Dad, this isn't for me. And that's something that I really want to put out there, that message, that if you know something's not for you, and you might be, young or old, or you might have to tell your partner or your loved one that the decision that you're making isn't the right decision for you, stand by that decision. Be self-aware enough, and in business, life, or career, profession, whatever you're doing, be strong enough to stand by your decision if you know something doesn't feel right for you. Because you can always go back and make that decision later at some point. That's something that we forget. We're so caught up in the rush of making decisions now, so we can benefit from them decisions moving forward. But sometimes if you feel like that's not the right decision for you, just stick to your guns. So from there, I ended up getting into a bit of a bad situation because I was hungry, ambitious, I was wanting everything, I wanted to take over the world, and I was doing it in the right, ethical, positive way. I was working with people in the TV industry at the time, such as Lorraine Keller, Amir Khan, Team GB, just to name a few. I was really excited and loving life. I thought I was a success. On the outside, I looked like a success because I looked like I was winning, but on the inside, I was falling apart. And that's something that we don't talk about too much if we're ambitious people and we're hungry and we've got that inner desire to win. We don't talk about the truth of what's going on inside of us. And sometimes we do not recognize that. And that's something that I want to talk about. You know what I mean? I want to get it out there and say, listen, if you've got something going on the inside, don't leave it too late, because guess what? You'll end up in situations that might be similar to mine, such as, getting sectioned for the first time. And that was a really scary experience, because when I was going through the mist of chasing all these ambitions and these dreams, I had a toxic relationship, I had toxic friends, I had pressure from my family, I had pressure from university, I had these plates spinning of pressure, and I wasn't thinking about my best self or my best interest. I wasn't putting me first, I was putting everybody else first, even putting my career first before my health. And that's where it had that detrimental effect on me, where I had that psychosis episode and essentially that mental health breakdown. So what is a psychosis episode, for some of you who are listening in might not know what that is. It's where you lose touch with reality. And I lost touch with reality massively. I thought I was dead. I thought I was hearing thoughts from God. And when I got to A&E, they gave me a blue pill. It was like something out of the Matrix, guys, right? They gave me this blue pill and I thought, right, what's this? Boom, took it. Next thing you know, my eyes closed, wake up, and I'm in a new environment that wasn't my essential, home. It wasn't my place to be in there. And I looked to my left and I thought, who is this? Looked to my right, I thought, who is that? I thought I seen Jesus Christ and I thought I seen the three wise men, but really it was just patients in that hospital who were struggling with their own mental health challenges. So that's my first part of my story. Does anyone want to chip in there? Got any questions?
Yeah, Jack. I mean, you know what? Again,
Wow.
it is amazing, and your story, you know, not only resonated with me when we spoke, but the bit that, you know, I think you're going to come on to this next, but the bit that people might not know is that you're also an author of 2 books, as well as, there you go, give them a plug, Jack. We'll make sure the links are in here.
We've got there we go. We've got On the Job there, which is in Waterstones and W.H. Smith, all good retailers, and then Dead Ends, which is an independent one, which you can find on Amazon.
And on that point, and we were speaking earlier, look, I mean, again, you know, please, you know, I hope you don't mind me telling people, but you're dyslexic. So you've struggled. So obviously, you know, being dyslexic, you struggle with anything, no doubt, in terms of writing and that side. So to be an author of 2 books, tell me the story of how you got those books on the shelves at Waterstones. Go on, tell me that story.
I'll tell you the story. So I'm coming out of hospital. I've lost everything. My head's gone, my heart's gone. I'm thinking, how can I rebuild my life from scratch? How can I get myself to be a success in my eyes, my own personal definition of what success is to me? And I'm thinking, right, I need to rebuild my life. I need to get off the couch. I need to start taking my medication. I need to do all these lists of things. The list was endless. And I thought, I still want to get that book published. It's collecting dust and rejection letter after rejection letter. But I still believe I can do something with it because I've spent 3 years writing it from the age of 15 to 18. And I thought, I'm 19 now, turning 20 soon, and I'm thinking, how can I make this happen? So I'm thinking, the clock's on. So I went on Google, I typed in a list of publishers, and I picked on one publisher that I wanted to work with. I rang up the publisher and I said, hiya, my name's Jack Nolan. I've got some work that I'd love to send you. Can I send it over? Yeah, Jack, go for it. Boom, conversation ended. Rang them back a week later. I said, hey, I just wondering if you had a chance to read my work. Boom, conversation ended. Rejected. It went on for 5 weeks now. This is a short period of time for anything. Trust me, I've spent years ringing publishers, and to do this in a matter of 5 weeks, what I'm about to tell you next is unbelievable, in my opinion. And the guy said to me on the 5th phone call, let's meet up in Manchester and have a chat. He presented me with a contract, which again, wasn't going to make me J.K. Rowling. It wasn't going to make me a success overnight, but it was going to put me on the ladder of getting my book out there and putting it in a positive direction. So I was buzzing with that. I was excited. And then I had this other great idea, which was, I'm going to get in Waterstones. Now, I didn't know how I was going to do this at the time. I really didn't. I was just throwing all my energy and passion into something. I got registered on the Waterstones website, but I still wasn't on the shelf. And I was like, how can I be on the shelf? I want to get a picture and a selfie with it and say to everyone, look at how great you can do something with your life. You can be someone. You know what I mean? There is a way forward. So I went in with like chocolate bars, Millie's cookies, donuts, you name it. I went in with it. The staff thought that I was the publisher. Like they thought, Jack Nolan, are you a publisher? I said, no. I said, I'm the author. But what are you doing here then? You're doing all the legwork here. I thought, you know what, you're right. I'm going in there with these big Millie's cookies with my name on and gifts and just gifting everyone, gifting my way to the top. And then all of a sudden, the regional manager came down the stairs and the lift doors opened and I seen him and he was looking at me like, are you Jack Nolan? I was like, are you the manager? It was like one of the moments where like a bit of a Western, bit of a shootout, you know, when the saloon doors opened. So he walked up to me and he said, so Jack, like basically in a nutshell, he was saying in a professional way, how can I get rid of you? Because I know you're going to keep coming back.
You did me, didn't mate? Yeah.
Yeah, so literally I just said to him, I'm trying to represent an idea that we can positively do things with our lives. Look, where I come from, Manchester, I've come through a lot of adversity, I've gone left when I should have gone right, I made a few mistakes along that way, and I'm just trying to represent that anything truly is possible. I've got dyslexia, I've had some mental health challenges, I've just come out of hospital, and now I'm here talking to you, so what do you think about that, Mr. Waterstones? And he just said, listen, Jack, right, I'm going to put a few books on the shelf and we'll see how it goes. But excellent, that is absolutely what I wanted from you. And I remember walking out of Waterstones and my mum came to the Arndale with us in Manchester and she was like, did you do it? I went, did it. I was like, was it? She was like, no way. She went, did it take the Miller's cookie? I went, absolutely they did. It was all
Amy said, you know, when I make reference to Jack with Brad, he's from the north and he swears a lot, as you can clearly see. He's just a better looking version.
My mum's going to go mad if she sees that. It's not normally swear, but he slipped out, man, so sorry.
No, it's real. I mean, look, we're all real people, but to have the determination, you said the 3 Ds, didn't you? Was it determination, dominance, what was the third one?
Discipline.
Discipline. you got up every day and you got on the train or in the car and the bus. You got there, you went and bought the cookies. You knocked the door and you kept knocking the door and you wouldn't give up because it was your dream and the vision. And that's the thing about that. We've all got a dream. Some of us wanted to be astronauts. Some of us want to be train drivers. Some of us still haven't worked it out, maybe. Yeah. But the point is, together, and that's the thing I think we picked up earlier, was the ability for you to inspire others and then for others to get together and start to believe in each other and just get that little bit of support to someone to say, do you know what? Why don't you have a go? And Brad does it a lot, doesn't he? It's about inspiring people to take action and not just sit there moaning or otherwise pontificating. Just get off your ass and do it. And the thing that our conference is all about is equipping everybody next year to go and do okay, thank you, Gillian. But yeah, tell us, Jamie, there was something you wanted to mention, wasn't there, before we
So Jack, I mean, look, your story resonates. Part of our conference this year, we've got, last week we had somebody on, one of our partners who's gone through mental health training for their business, a big advocate. We've got a guy that's been recommended to us this year to join the conference. He's going to come and do a couple of sessions. One session is about mental health awareness, how your awareness of your state. And then the next session he's going to do is all around sort of how you can then not repair it, but not only be aware of it, what tools can you do? So Jack, just what did you do? If you could have your time over again and you didn't have the episode that you had, what were the early signs? What would you do differently? What could you tell our audience to be careful and what are the signs that you should be looking out for?
What I would say you got to look out for, because my journey from that 18 months later, I ended up getting searching for the second time and I thought, I can't believe I'm in this state. I was trying my hardest to inspire people in there and give poems and motivation, but the tools that I was passing on to them was saying, listen, I've been here before. Right, and I know what I've gone wrong, and that is lack of sleep, which you could take for granted. But I know we've all got that hustle mindset to keep working. But if you're not looking after your basic well-being of just sleeping, it's massively going to affect your mental state because you're not going to be in the right state of mind, and you're going to burn out. I remember when I was literally so burnt out, I couldn't speak. I was sat on my mum's couch, and I was literally just I was gone. I was a vegetable for a week. And it was that was one of the early signs of me becoming really, really severely unwell. So sleep is massively important. Communication with our family. We've all got inner conflicts inside us sometimes. Not necessarily all of us, but some people who are listening might have a conflict right now what you've not addressed and you've not spoken about it to your family because you're scared of having that big chat. It might be your relationship's not working, or you want to make your relationship work, or you might be in a bad business relationship or whatever it might be. You know what I mean? We've all got that inner conflict and only you know what that conflict is. I can't tell you what that is. You've got to address it yourself. So if you don't address your conflict, it's gonna, like a snowball, it starts off small and you think, oh, forget about it, don't worry about it, you throw it to the back of your mind. But over time, it's gonna keep rolling like a avalanche, and it's just gonna mess your brain up. It's gonna make your brain just switch off because of all the stress that you're facing. And it could happen when you're at the height of your career. It don't matter, stress and these things that are building up in your mind, these conflicts, don't care whether you're a millionaire, don't care whether you're a successful whatever, doesn't matter whether you're just starting out, don't matter where you are, what stage you are in your life, it doesn't care about that. All it cares about is the stress in your brain. And you've got to be man or woman enough to say, listen, I'm going to address these problems now because I know they will snowball later. And that's one of the key things that I ignored. I just kept on chasing with that ambition and that I'm going to prove them all wrong. I'm going to prove. But guess what? The only person who essentially messed up was me. Nobody else. I can't blame anybody else. It was me who was accepting that stress. It was me who wasn't having them conversations. It was me who didn't say to the universe, hey, listen, it's not working out for me. Even in despite of what my parents might have wanted for me, I didn't have the courage, and that's what I want to talk about again, is just courage to be able to speak and communicate what I'm feeling and what essentially is going on the inside with my personal demons, if you want to call it that. So I'm not sure if I've given enough there, but
Jack, I mean, again, I think that final point resonates with our audience anyways, the courage. Our audience, our members, our audience we work in an accounts payable industry. For Jack, if you don't know what that is, that's the people that pay the bills. So when you send an invoice into somebody, they're the people that pay the bills. Now, but they're they're the backstop, they're the backbone of businesses. They get very little recognition, and they very rarely do they find the courage to really promote themselves and the teams they do, because also, one, they're so busy, but two, it usually falls on deaf ears. So your story today hopefully will inspire them not only to go and do that, but also just sometimes check with themselves, check with their teams. You know, our members, our business community are starting to trickle back to office environments. So they'll be dealing with anxiety issues, people going into the office for the first time in a long time. So again, any just very quick words of wisdom from anybody going back into offices that for the first time in a year and a half, 2 years, about their anxieties, or anything you give them as advice on that one?
Yeah, I totally understand that there's going to be a lot of anxiety. Like, I was scared going out in social situations, such as going to the pub to socialise with friends. So going to a work office, again, it's going to create them same anxiety feelings. So what I want you to do is be honest and vulnerable. Now, I know this is really hard to do. Now, and we're going back to the basics like circle time in school. Instead of talking about how great you are in the circle time moment, talk about what's real and right now in your life and what stresses you are facing personally, professionally, and how you want to move forward, or what support do you need, like right now, which is massive. You know what I mean? Like, we can't just walk in as superheroes, like with big conquering the world, and you know, even as leaders, business leaders, HR leaders, or whatever you may be, whatever your title is, we can't just walk in there like with the dogs, doodahs, right? We've got to be honest. Don't put up a front. Because if you're putting up a front, again, it's going back to this negative cycle of that snowball effect of creating these inner conflicts. And we don't want inner conflicts, because if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do you no harm. And that's an old African proverb, what I stand to live by since being unwell. I'll say it again for those who might have missed it. If there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do you no harm. And we are our own worst enemies. So be vulnerable. Being vulnerable is a strength, right? It is a power. It allows us to connect with each other on a level that no other human beings, well, not human beings, no other animal can. We are the only people who can communicate how we are feeling with humans. So what I want you to know is that you can take that away when you walk into the office. If you're a manager, if you're a leader, if you're an entrepreneur, business owner, small business owner, big business owner, CEO, whatever the title, I highly recommend on that first day you say, look, let's all sit down, have a chat, have a brew, have a coffee, and let's just talk about how we all are. Not in a corporate way like we're doing it to tick a box. We're doing it to make ourselves known that we're there to support each other as a second family, because that's essentially what your work colleagues become, in my opinion. Call me right, call me wrong. That's what I believe. So,
Jack, on that note, we'll bring things to a draw there. I mean, I think that idea of, you know, sitting down, have a coffee, openly, vulnerably, chatting about how people are, not to tick boxes, I think is exceptional. Let me just quickly put one of our members on, Rachel, who actually, Rachel's an inspiration to our audience also. She's a very key character in our industry. She was the young lady that introduced me to another guy who's coming on the show, the conference. You know, her words, I think, sums it up, you know, inspiring. You've been an absolute star today. And let me just put on Jack as well. So Jack Wright, who was on with us last week, he put, you know, go Jack. So it's all the Jacks this week. You know, it's I feel Jackless today. But look, honestly, it was an absolute pleasure talking to you, Jack. And one of the things, my ask to you is, you've done an exceptional job of doing this. We are going back face-to-face. We're doing lots of face-to-faces through 2022. Mike's in charge of most of these events. Please come and inspire our audience in a face-to-face environment.
Wow, that'd be amazing. Honestly, thank you so much.
Not a problem. Not a problem. We're planning, obviously, 2022. We've got a lot going on this year, as you know, with the conference and some other things. But as we get into next year, Jamie and I are going to turn the computer off, get in the car, and go and see some people. And so you can expect to see us all over the place. And we'll be in your region very soon. So you won't even have that far to travel. But before we sign up, and it is nearly past, let's see those books again, Jack. Quick plug, if you won't mind.
There we go. On the Job, Dead Ends, Waterstones, W.H. Smith, Amazon. Give me a Google, check me out. If you'd like to have a chat with me, feel free to give me a DM and we'll have a chat.
Brilliant, mate. Thank you.
Website address, Jack?
www.jacknolan.co.uk.
You're a star. Look, exceptional interview today. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that. I think you've inspired myself and Mike, let alone the rest of the audience that are watching this. No doubt we'll catch up soon, and hopefully we'll catch up for a brew one day, Jack.
Absolutely, Mike. I mean, absolutely, Mike and Jamie. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lovely. It's great to speak to you today. Thanks so much. And Mike, get back to work, mate. Go and sell another headline sponsorship. Cheers, guys.
Coming along. See you later.